So I think just as a disclaimer, we know these don't really have a bearing on anything. It's just some company decided to basically rate the drivers, and like AWS, we're just going to roast the shit out of it because it's fun.
So
Go for it.
before we get into this, John texted the idea of having this type of episode to me, and the first place my head went, and if you've never read this before, go check it out, because apparently I realize I'm the eldest one here, but it is from like 2007. But just Google Ethan Albright's letter to John Madden, because Madden ratings were kind of the first big deal with giving number values to different attributes. So Google that. It's a little more obscene than I remembered it because it's been a while since I've read it. So I can't exactly give you guys the blow by blow here, but check it out. It will put a smile on your face if nothing else, and then compare it to this. I think it fits. So Deanna, why don't you take us through the overall ratings? We'll start with the top and work our way down.
Okay, so overall, kind of 1 through 20. This is basically how F1 2021 has ranked the drivers. So no surprise, Lewis is number 1, followed by Verstappen. Then Bottas is 3rd. Norris is 4th. Ricciardo is 5th. Gasly is ranked 6th. Vettel in 7th. Alonso is 8th. Leclerc 9th. Perez 10th. Sainz 11th. Raikkonen 12th. Ocon 13th. Russell 14th. Stroll 15th. Tsunoda 16th. Giovinazzi 17th. Schumacher 18th. Latifi 19th. And Mazepin the very clear last place.
At least they got that
here.
right.
Yes.
I was going to say, at least 1 and 20, at least it seems, are close. There's a lot in the middle here that you could easily pick apart. The Sainz rating is that's just abysmal to me. Absurd. 87, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Sir, Father Mazepin didn't make a cash donation to EA Sports to try to bump that up a little bit, because I know it's going to be painful to look at. But yeah, I mean, Valtteri Bottas in 3rd, really. The guy that's losing the seat is the 3rd best driver on the grid.
Counting stats. I guarantee you that's, if you got one of their people on to talk about it, that's probably what they would cite.
And again, we were kind of talking about this. We don't know when these ratings happened. So some of them seem to kind of make sense for this year. But if we were going off last year, Perez in 10th, who was best of the rest. Vettel
and won a race.
Who had an abysmal year. Like, if we're going off last year, this is nowhere close.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense from last year, and it doesn't really make sense for this year either. No. So
I mean, as much as we ripped on him, I mean, Lance Stroll only at 83. I mean, that guy did have a pole position and did some good things.
Yeah, he's only one point above Yuki, the straight up rookie. So yeah, these things don't, and then even like Latifi, he's not even that much better than Mazepin. But Mazepin's hit every wall, on the Formula One calendar. So,
and I feel bad for Latifi being that far behind Schumacher. Like, poor guy.
He
was like second place in F2 at one point. So,
yeah, you've got people with actual experience, but then Schumacher at a 76. You've got, again, going back to Tsunoda. You've got an F2 champion, and then you've got, Tsunoda that's outranking him. I don't know. I don't understand the rhyme or reason here. Yeah, exactly. And as much as I like to hate on like Charles Leclerc, but to see him behind Danny Rick, Vettel, I mean, Alonso.
If you did it going into the season, you wouldn't know where to put Alonso because you didn't know what he had left. So, like, I kind of get that. I mean, but it's I know the number one like factor in this is the experience rating. Like, it's probably the most weight. As I was reading up on this, trying to figure out what the heck I was going to say about it, but yeah, I mean, it almost seems like they overvalue that and undervalue a little bit more raw talent.
Yeah, because if you're a Kimi, let's see, Kimi's sitting way down in 12th. At an 87.
I don't think Kimi and Sainz and Perez are on the same level.
No, I don't either. Not in the least bit. Not in 2021, no.
Further, and we'll go team by team. So starting with Russell and Williams, He has an overall rating of 84 with an experience of 60, racecraft of 76, awareness of 99, and pace of 83, while Latifi has an overall rating of 71, experience 55, racecraft 69, awareness 79, and pace 70. If I could just kick this one off.
Please do.
I love Russell. He's great. But whoever made these rankings, the awareness one, has never watched him race in Imola.
That's very true.
I don't think anybody that chucks it into the wall under a safety car should be given 99 awareness. Also, he took out Bottas, so I mean there are mixed feelings on that one, but yeah, the evidence doesn't point towards 99 awareness, so that's questionable.
And they obviously don't rate any of the junior series with any sort of actual experience points because they're only giving him a 60 here. Dude was an F2 champion. He dominated that year when he won it. So the racecraft kind of makes a little bit of sense. The awareness. So he's aware at how much in the back he is, apparently, but he can't do anything about it. But he knows that he's back there. So I guess that's important.
And it pains me, too, because this is Codemasters. They make great games. Granted, they've been taken over by EA, and I'm sure EA is going to ruin it with some microtransactions or something any moment now. But they've been doing this since the beginning of time. You know, they know F1. And we had this whole thing, in 2020 where all these F1 drivers actually played this game, on live television and then gave them feedback about all the things that was right and wrong about it. You would think that coming off of that kind of free expertise that was loaned to them, that this would be the most accurate game possible, which they claim it to be. But I agree with you. The awareness piece, I would love to see what Grosjean is if he was still on this game. Unfortunately, he didn't make the historic drivers yet. Maybe one day, maybe next year.
All right, so next up is Haas. So starting with Schumacher with an overall rating of 76, experience of 47, racecraft of 65, awareness of 81, and pace of 83, where Mazepin has an overall rating of 67, also with experience of 47 and racecraft of 65, but his awareness is a little bit lower on a 78 and pace is way lower on a 66.
How do you give Nikita Mazepin even that high of awareness?
Awareness? I don't know.
The guy doesn't know where he is. He cuts off the leader and oh my God. That's
He's
awful.
not aware of blue flags. He's not aware of how to keep his car in a straight line. I don't know.
I mean, he can't even keep it on the black stuff. How do you I mean, I get racecraft, but I mean, again, no love to anything related to F2 or the feeder series whatsoever. Schumacher was in F2 for 2+ years. So
which is even more crazy because F2 has been a full-fledged thing in this game for the last couple of years as well. So
right.
You could start your career in Formula 2 and work your way up with Schumacher if you want to, So I think that's an interesting piece. But yeah, like awareness for Schumacher, I mean, he's really stayed out of trouble. Now, granted, his F2 days, he had some like interesting run-ins, at various tracks leading up to this, but his Formula One experience has been relatively clean for the most part, other than, him banging wheels with his teammate 5 laps behind everyone else. But to give only 3 points higher than Mazepin on awareness when the guy literally spins and hits everything under the sun on a weekly, I mean, his team boss gave him a damn spinner cap because he's now an internet sensation in all the wrong ways. That one stood out to me quite a bit. Yeah.
The pace actually is also interesting. How do you give anybody 83 on pace when you're driving a Haas? More on the car than Mick.
Yeah, you got to give them talent. Like that's the thing. Like
that's true.
Going back to Alonso, I feel like you got to give the guy he's 2-time world champion, Le Mans winner. He's one race short of the Triple Crown. Like I feel like you got to give him more racecraft and things like that to mix into that. But maybe Codemasters didn't read up his Wikipedia page before they made these or something. I don't know.
Okay, so moving on to Alfa Romeo, Kimi has an overall rating of an 87, experience 99, racecraft 91, awareness 84, pace 86. Gio, on the other hand, has a rating of 79, experience 54, racecraft 82, awareness 82, pace 80. And I just want to start off, poor Gio is getting done dirty here on the experience. He's under
He's been around
Russell,
a while.
He's under Norris. He's under Latifi. Like, this poor man. Like, this is the most objective stat, I think, of all of them, and you're going to put him under all of those people?
That's true.
I don't get, like, if you're gonna like just rank them all based on number of races and then just assign an arbitrary point value to each one. This one would seem like it'd be the easiest to be chronologically in order here. I don't exactly understand this one, to say the least. And I just want to say as well, I feel like they did him dirty on this picture here as well. I mean, Gio's got his flowing locks. You know, he's known for the great hair, and this picture is just not doing the guy justice. I feel for him. And Kimi looks like he's stoned out of his freaking mind right now on this picture. So, I mean, I love you, Kimi. I love you.
The ratings also make this look like this is 2018 still with Ferrari Kimi. I mean, this is not the Alfa Romeo Kimi of yelling, you know, at his team about, why did you call me in?
Yeah, after Austria, I don't think anybody thinks his awareness should be an 84.
Yeah, not saying, but just saying.
And not to mention, he's been outpaced by his teammate in quite a bit in the last 12 months. So the fact that Gio's 6 points below him, I mean, granted, I don't want to take away from, I mean, he's getting the 99 from experience, so you would think they would balance things out a little bit more. I don't know what races that Codemasters watches, but apparently it's not the same one that we do.
All right, so moving on to AlphaTauri. Gasly gets an overall rating of a 90, experience 59, racecraft 92, awareness 99, pace 89, while Yuki Tsunoda gets an 82 with an experience of 46, somehow lower than Mazepin and Schumacher. But anyway, racecraft 88, awareness 78, and pace 86. I'm really just on these experience levels. Gasly is also under Russell and Norris. A whole other season, and he went to Red Bull. That's a lot of experience.
I was going to say, you like apparently no love for the half a year with Red Bull, and no love for your Japanese Super Formula, where Tsunoda was a stud. Boo.
Masters doesn't know what that is, Andy.
Yeah, apparently not. Apparently
you
not.
may be giving way too many credits here.
You're up on like coding. Put on the race. Come on.
I mean, as far as like overall rating, I feel like Gasly at a 90 feels like, I feel like that feels pretty good to me right now. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that, but awareness, he's been pretty clean for a while now. Really no crazy incidents.
Drove into the back of Ricardo in Bahrain. That's all I got though.
Okay, yeah, there was that. Well, thanks, Deanna, for earning that. Off to the next one.
99s just seem so like unobtainable. Like, I just don't think.
I mean, that to me is like, again, I'm going to keep going back to Madden football because it's the only other place I've ever done this for. But like, Devin Hester was given a 99 for speed because he was the fastest guy ever. And I know that's a Chicago Bears reference, so go back, Google him if you want to go understand what I'm talking about there. So sorry if I've gone way too local, way too quickly.
And it's like, what's football? You lost me here.
But
it's not a round-shaped ball. You throw into a hoop. She's done.
But anyway, I mean, it's the same concept. Like, if you're giving a 99 rating, that should mean like he should be able to have eyes in the back of his head. I don't know that I can say that about Pierre Gasly. I like him. I think the overall rating makes sense, but how you get there is weird to me.
Well, I think Deanna, once we get done with the team by team, maybe you should just pull up the awareness stacked ranked amongst each other, and we can just see kind of where everybody falls in the chain of command there.
But like, if you just thinking off the top of your head, who would you give a 99 awareness? Like, maybe
Hamilton, maybe not even Verstappen. I wouldn't give him a 99.
I don't think Hamilton. Well, I know Hamilton doesn't get a 99 awareness. I feel like that's the Albon incidents coming, like, being factored in there. And I think he also kind of in Imola didn't have a great moment. It's like there's nobody that I think is.
Yeah, if you think Hamilton, the Albon incidents, the Monza incident with the pit lane, I mean, penalty points, like there's a lot on there that the last 12 months, he's got more penalty points than about anybody other than Norris. I'm curious what Norris will be ranked when we get down there. But yeah, nobody like immediately comes to mind exactly to me for awareness at a 99. That seems, I don't know. Well, I was going to say Perez, but no. I mean...
now you can't say that after last week.
Yeah, if we recorded this last week, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but not... Not so much anymore.
Well, you seem like you're and this is just an honest question. It sounds like you're trying to judge awareness as being the most clean driver in terms of not hitting anybody, and I guess that may be true. I don't know. Again, it seems very a subjective attribute to go, okay, well, am I aware that I'm in P20 and I suck, or do I, am I aware that I should be closing in on the top of the grid? I don't know.
You're ranking just self-awareness.
Yes.
As a personality trait. But I think another problem with this, we're going on a tangent here, but F1 is just the recency bias is absurd. So I'm just only thinking about the last 2 races in Austria, and then these just seem a little absurd.
Hey, yeah, you're only as good as as what have you done for me lately mentality. So,
yeah,
that's also a symptom of the Twitterverse and what it does when we watch races now too.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, moving on to, we're doing this in the constructors order, and I forgot Ferrari was 6th last year. I even thought they did better than that, but here we are.
It's a shame James isn't on here tonight to make fun of him, but
yeah. Oh well, he'll watch it later. So, starting with Leclerc, he has an overall rating of an 88, experience of a 62, racecraft of an 88, awareness of an 87, and pace at a 92. Carlos Sainz, on the other hand, has an 87 overall rating, 69 experience, 88 racecraft, 94 awareness, and pace of an 85. I think that pace rating is.
I was going to say the
low.
pace rating right there. That's pretty brutal. This was a guy who was putting in even if you go off of last year, this is a guy who was putting in the top 5 consistently in the second half of last year. I don't know what races you weren't watching, but he's the guy that got McLaren that P3 last year. When Norris was struggling, trying to get on top of that car last year.
And again, I love to hate on him, but giving Charles a 62 experience, it just seems, I don't know.
This is a race winner,
Yeah, granted, it was a cheating car when he did it.
Well, that's debatable. Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
maybe they added that in there. Although it did take Codemasters 9 months to handicap Ferrari after the 2019 season. On this game, so for a while there, they were 5 seconds faster than anyone on track. But I don't know. I get it's only been 3 seasons now, right? But it just feels, I don't know. That feels wrong to me as 62.
I feel better about that one because I think he's more in the order of where he should be by actual just number of races versus whatever's going on at the bottom. With that's
what I'm saying. If you got other rookies that are 3 points behind him, that one just seems a little funky to me. But the whole scale is obviously screwed up here.
Any other comments on Ferrari?
No, other than I think they did Carlos Sainz an injustice there, but
yeah,
we already talked about why.
All right, so next up is Alpine. So we're starting with Alonso. He has an overall rating of an 89, experience 99, racecraft 89, awareness 94, and pace 86. As for Ocon, he has an overall rating of 86, experience 60, racecraft 93, awareness 98, and pace 79. Any thoughts?
The Fernando one is much more about, I think, how he is perceived versus, if you actually look at race results from his last year with McLaren, they're pretty abysmal. So, granted, that had a lot to do with the car and the Renault engine and all that stuff, and that's why he walked away. And I do think that he's better than what that car ever showed, but racecraft, that makes sense. He is awareness, I guess, makes sense. Pace, that was just kind of an unknown. I don't know where you would put him. But I guess if you threw it into some algorithm, that might be where it comes out. The Ocon one, again, awareness 98. Is he that aware? This was a guy that was mixing it up with Perez all the time, and when they were in Force India together.
I just see Singapore as soon as I saw 98, my mind went Singapore bouncing your teammates into the wall on the first lap of the race.
My mind went to Verstappen shoving him off.
That too.
So much awareness.
Did you not know that was the leader?
Going back to Fernando, I feel what you're saying there, Andy, but like him or not, Fernando is still one of the best
absolutely
racing drivers on the planet.
I just don't know. And it's next to an impossible task to take a guy who wasn't in the sport for the last 2 years and then try to assign him a rating. I get that.
Yeah, but again, it's not like he just went and sat in the Spanish hills and drank.
Oh no, he was.
Stuff.
doing
you know,
stuff.
he's out there like winning championships at other extremely high forms of racing. That one doesn't make, and the fact that Ocon has a better racecraft than him, that one is the one that gives me a little bit of heartburn. I can't. Experience makes total sense. 99, yeah, he's up there with Kimi, been around since the beginning of time. But the racecraft being, you know,
I mean, that's the one thing you say about Fernando that he still has is the awesome racecraft,
which he's finally, it looks like, able to show that at
Right.
least the last couple of weeks. Looks like maybe he's finally getting on top of that extremely wide body car that makes no aerodynamic sense. But yeah, that one's the one that gave me heartburn. And can I just say he looks really old in this picture? I don't know.
They let the hair go a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably still younger than me. I don't know. I don't remember how old Fernando
I think he's
is
pushing
now,
almost 40.
Okay, so he's
40.
Yeah.
So he's up there with Andy now. Okay,
Yeah,
he's
he's around me. You know, if I was to try to strap it in and give
Andy,
it a
you're
go.
looking like a spring chicken over there. buddy.
Oh, sorry, he's 39. Sorry, Alonso.
All right, well, he's a year older than I am. Hey, look at that.
All right. Well, anyways, I said my piece about Fernando. I'll defend them one more day.
Okay, so moving on. Next, we have Aston Martin, and starting with Sebastian Vettel, he has an overall rating of an 89, experience 91, racecraft 93, awareness 87, pace 88. While Lance Stroll has an overall rating of an 83, experience 62, racecraft 93, awareness 82, and pace 82. I think if something jumps out to me, I mean, if we're primarily going off last year, Vettel is very, 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 very high. Especially compared to Leclerc.
Yeah, that's the 4 championships obviously buttressing those ratings. Yep. Because if you're going off of last year, yeah, there's no way. And then, you know, with Stroll, you know, awareness, I think it probably is a little low, given the fact that that's a dude who in wet conditions can be really good, and has a pull to his name. Overall, 83, I don't think I have a problem with. His experience rating, I think, is fine. His pace rating is fine. I think Vettel is definitely being buttressed by his history versus recent form, for sure.
Does the awareness at 87, what do you feel about that for Vettel?
I don't know. I think back to the brake check with Lewis incident, he was very aware of what he was doing then.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. I kind of had blocked that out of my mind a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there was obviously, you know, an incident with Leclerc.
I will say one thing about that. So Leclerc and Vettel both have an 87. So they both have wrecked to give Ferrari a double DNF. Both, like Leclerc did it in Styria in 2020. Vettel did it in 2019 in Brazil. So I guess it makes sense that they even out on 87.
All right, I'm good with that. You know, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think experience feels like maybe a little bit low for Vettel as a 91.
Yeah.
Pace, yeah, he and Stroll should probably somewhere a little bit more evenly matched on that pace scale of things. I'd like to see where he falls in the grand scheme of things on that one, but James isn't here to trash him tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, it's hard to argue with. He probably deserves to get a little bit knocked down there. Just a tad.
James would wash 4 points off the experience just because he thinks he's washed. So.
Oh, 100%.
All right, moving on to what appears to be our team of the day here. On the pod, we have McLaren with Lando Norris getting a 91 with an experience of 60, a racecraft of 96, awareness of 99, pace of an 89, with Ricciardo 1 point behind in the overall ratings on 90, experience at an 80, racecraft 94, awareness 91, and pace 88. Thoughts?
It's obviously pre-McLaren Daniel ratings, or going into what we thought he was going to be this season, because that's clearly not where he's at yet. He may round back into that, but he's got to show it before he can do that. And the Lando rating, again, I think is pre this year.
Yeah, it's a pre-2021.
Could actually be a little higher given the 3 podiums, given where he's kind of outpacing the car. Racecraft awareness, okay. Again, the awareness one, I feel like I'm going to totally undercut my whole argument about penalty points, but he is the driver with the most amount of penalty points right now. That's just odd. But he's aware that he has the most penalty points. So let's give it
If
to
makes
him
you feel
that
any
way.
better, I don't really agree with 99%
that's
of his
true.
penalty points, if that makes you feel any better about it. But yeah, I feel like on pace, Lando should be like a 92-ish. That feels about right to me. And then Danny Rick, like a 84, maybe?
Yeah, or 86. I would say at least take 2 points off of that because it's about a half a second between the two of them right now.
You're very analytical, Andy. I like it.
Yep.
When it
Well,
comes to
if it
my
makes you
boys,
feel
I
better,
try.
Lando is ranked 4th overall. So even they're pretty high on him even after this year or before or last year. I don't know. We still haven't decided where they took these from.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, so next up is Red Bull. So we have Verstappen with an overall rating of a 95, experience a 69, racecraft a 96, awareness a 96, pace a 97. And for Perez, he is on an overall rating of an 87, experience of an 81, racecraft of a 92, awareness of an 84, and pace of an 87. So my kind of comment here, again, if we're kind of looking at last year, he's 10th overall, but was best of the rest last year. I just think he got done dirty a little bit here.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the awareness piece outside of last week, I feel like should have been much higher. And if you're going to go like way back, then having Max at a 96, which I personally like, Max has pretty much stayed out of trouble, for quite some time now, as being the guy that's known to be a hothead in the sport. He's really one that I could, going back to your question, who do we see as being a 99? He's been pretty damn clean for quite some time now.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I feel like, the experience, it feels weird having Max being at a 69 because I feel like he's been in Formula One.
I was going to say, do they not remember the Toro Rosso years? Apparently,
Right,
that just didn't happen. He's been in F1 since he's been 18. They literally rewrote a rule so that they wouldn't go as young as this guy was in because he's been around so long.
Yeah, so that one feels a little weird to me, I'm not going to lie.
All right, so I appear to have deleted the Mercedes ranking.
Scroll up.
I see how you really feel, Deanna. It's like she's just like, screw it. No, we're not even going to talk about them.
Yep, I don't see them. So, but my whole big thing, and I'm just going to complain about it now, is Bottas getting a 99 on awareness.
Yes.
I
will say this.
I mean, like, he really does kind of stay clean, but like, he spun what, 5 times in Turkey?
Yeah, I think Turkey alone should have been enough to knock him significantly down. I'll steal this. Someone on Twitter, so it's not my own, but someone on Twitter said this was the rating of his awareness that he's losing a seat. And if you're going to go by that, then give him 120 because I think that's inevitable. Pace at a 92 for Bottas.
Again, that's counting stats. That's pole positions, fastest laps, all that stuff. This is what we talk about. You're going to look at his career overall, and you're going to say, that's not that bad of a career until you actually break it past this. And I think if you're actually, and I think in the game looks at those types of things. It looks at the counting stats. It looks at the fast laps. It looks at the pole positions and all that other stuff. I don't think he's a 92 on pure pace anymore, but his stats would argue otherwise.
Yeah. I feel like the racecraft at an 89.
Everything other than sending it, I think makes sense.
Right. For an attribute that's about overtaking and how many positions you're making up, that's not him at all. Like, to me, he should be down like a 78 if that's what you're going to base it off of. And then having like Lewis Hamilton at an 89 awareness seems a little unusual, but then I feel like having Lewis Hamilton at a 94 as a racecraft, when you're talking, again, I don't want to sound too much like a homer here, but I don't know what the overall ratings is. I know that Max was a 96. I feel like the 7-time world champion should at least be on par with Max Verstappen in every category and be exceptionally higher than him on experience with his 250 whatever something Grand
Well,
Prix. But
and you used to say if you ever needed a guy overtaken, call Lewis Hamilton because he'd be the guy to figure out how to get it done. So that I think is I would give racecraft the edge right now, even without the car advantage to Lewis over Max.
So for just in general racecraft, number 1 is Verstappen and Norris are tied at 96. And then in second is Hamilton and Ricciardo tied on 94.
Yeah,
all right. Well,
you will.
put it how you like. Yeah, like I said.
then
And I'm like
Vettel,
Norris is
Ocon, and Stroll at 93.
Yeah.
So.
And Norris is doing much better this season. But again, if we're kind of taking into last season, first lap stuff, not amazing. So I feel like that should be part of the racecraft. Maybe not quite number 1, at least.
And, as much as I hate to throw shade on my boy here, but Q3 is not as necessarily always a strong point. So, maybe the pace is a little high too.
So, yeah. And
anyway, this is a hodgepodge. I think what we've come to the conclusion on. It's you throw stuff at a dartboard, and sometimes this is what you get. And I think that's kind of our conclusion on F1 driver ratings in this iteration of the game.
Yeah, will we buy it? Yes, I will. Will I play it for hours on end? Yes. Will I try to convince my co-host to join our league every day of my week or every day of the week? I'll make that pledge. But yeah, it's a little unusual. Like I said, this is the same company that had Ferrari light years ahead of the competition in prior years, despite the clear and obvious cheating going on allegedly. Yeah.
The issue is closed. The issue is closed. Let's not forget that.
But overall, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I got a good kick out of these ratings for sure. Maybe one day I'll get a job at Codemasters and figure it all out. But
so, Deanna, any final thoughts on the ratings or anything else?
I mean, it's all just dumb. That's the conclusion.
That's the soundbite of the week right there.
But yeah, I've had fun kind of just reminiscing about all the times these drivers have messed up and why they don't deserve to be praised as much as they are. I feel like that's what this whole thing was. So sorry.
Well, yeah, it's literally it's something to talk about. And like I said, go read Ethan Albright's letter to John Madden, and you'll kind of get my thoughts on driver ratings in general. But it's kind of on an off week. It's a fun episode to do. I'm glad we did it.